it's a lot different. Yeah. It's more open where it echoes a little bit.
He sent me a text, he says, your mom and dad's both asleep, but
Just something
I take it.
you found everything that you
She
moved.
around. She
Build it fine.
probably
Fine.
asleep tonight. It was like this.
Because I wasn't in charge of putting things away. She was.
It's-
So I was like, Crystal, where's this? She's like, it's
He's
okay.
sick too.
Okay.
So it's
Some
Charles.
things aren't, I remember in the old
Yeah, he texted me,
Yeah.
said he wasn't coming because he's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tuesday night.
because, is Jared coming?
No.
We can talk about that at that. I didn't say we just table it.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead.
Call the Stuart Municipal Utilities Council Chambers tentative agenda Thursday, January 8, 2026, 5:30 PM. Roll call. Crawford.
Here.
Herrick. Belden. Sherman.
Here.
Avey here. Okay, agenda approval, consent agenda. Minutes of regular meeting 12/11/2025 and special meeting of 12/15/2025. Financial statement as of 12/31/2025 and bills as presented. Has anyone got a motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Okay, how do you vote? Crawford?
Yes.
Belden?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Avey, yes. 5, United Risk Services, pre-renewal, introduction. How much pre-read?
Fine, there's two documents there, if you could pass it down and take one. I know there's been some discussion about possibly looking at other agencies and, considering some other options for insurance, so I just wanted to come and reintroduce myself and explain what our agency does with the city's insurance and answer any questions you have. So, I provided you 2 documents. The first one gives an overview just of our team. We are kind of a joint team. I work here locally at United Risk Services. I also work with First Main Street Insurance. So I have a dual role, and as part of First Main Street Insurance, I work with the public entity team. So we work with public entities, which are schools, cities, counties, utilities, all across the state of Iowa, into Minnesota, and into Illinois. So that is our area of expertise, and that's what we work with every day, day in and day out. So we are definitely growing in understanding of the types of risks that those face. It's very different from your personal lines insurance or even other kinds of commercial insurance. So, as I said, I am here in the office locally, work day to day on the accounts, handle the claims, handle renewal information, any kind of concern that Ash or Sarah might have, they reach out and we work through those together. But I also have a team that works with me, and those people provide a lot more experience and expertise where I may not have as much. We can all work together to make sure that we're bringing you the best value for what you deserve as a public entity. So the other main member of our team is Joe Venz. He couldn't be here tonight, but he is our risk advisor and helps with the renewals, helps with other meetings, and is available to bounce ideas off of, run things by when there's a particularly challenging situation. He has broader expertise in those things than I might, so it's nice to have that team. But at the same time, I am learning and growing because this is now what I do every day, all day, is work with public entities. So that I just wanted to reintroduce the team members to you. But then I also would like to clarify that I'm a taxpayer here locally, and it's important to me that you get served well, that we keep premiums low. I don't want my taxes going up any more than anyone else. And you have the benefit of my office being right here local, and you can stop in. People do for the city a lot more than the utilities, but Pat has stopped in, and it's very convenient to have those conversations. So that's an added benefit that me being local provides to you. Another thing that we do is focus on education. So Joe and I have been taking a lot of classes, not just general continuing ed, but we've been really focusing on growing our knowledge base, deepening our understanding of the types of insurance products that we're selling, so that we really understand what you need as public entity, what you might be lacking, or how we can best serve you. So Joe just recently obtained his certified insurance counselor designation and is working towards his risk advisor designation. In a couple months, I'll also have a certified insurance counselor designation. So we're committed not just to being the status quo, but we want to be the best that we can as we serve our clients. Another benefit is that we work with public entities, and within the Iowa space of public entity, there are two main carriers that provide insurance. You have ICAP, which is the pool product I'm sure you've heard of, and you have EMC insurance, and that's a more traditional insurance coverage kind of policies. So working with a large number of public entities, I work with ICAP and I work with EMC. I work with Iowa Municipal Workers work comp every day. Those relationships are strong for both the pool product and the traditional EMC product. So that is a unique set of relationships that we are able to tap into if we feel like a client would be better served with one or the other, or if we think that premiums are climbing and we could look at another option for a client. We have those relationships that we can tap into and access for our clients. Another thing that I will bring to your attention is the second page that I handed you. And this is our service calendar. Once we renew the policies, which yours renew April 1st, we set 4 standard meetings. We just preset them on Ash and Sarah's calendars and set aside that time on our calendars. And those 4 meetings are different from if there's a claim that we need to discuss, or we jump on a call if there's another kind of a concern. These are 4 standard meetings that just make sure we're providing you the service that you deserve as a client. So the first one is a work comp claims meeting, where we summarize all the claims that, not just work comp, we also summarize the other claims that the utility board would have, or the utilities has. And we walk through those, if there's any that are open, if there's any that are over $10,000, and we want to discuss that and see if there's a plan of attack that we can collectively work through to find resolution. If we see that there's the same kind of claim occurring over and over, then that's something we would bring up and talk about how can we stop this or reduce these kinds of claims. So that is a specific hour where we just communicate with the utility, or with Ash and Sarah, about the claims and what we can do to help close some of them. The reason we do that in the first 6 months is because we need to get that done before they close the period of time to keep your mod low, and that helps reduce the premium for you So they capture it within that first 6 months, and then that's the experience mod that they base your premium on the next year. So if we can get those closed, that helps keep that mod low. So that's why we do it at that point. The next meeting is a premium forecasting meeting where we go out to the market, we evaluate what different lines of coverage are doing, what we're hearing from other carriers about increases or decreases. You all know property over the last few years had some dramatic increases. Right now, we're hearing that those are coming back in line, so hopefully premiums will stay a little lower than they have the last few years. But we would take every line of coverage and project a percent based on your claim history, the marketplace, other what the carriers are saying, and give them a budgeting projection. It's not exact, it's projected, but still it helps them to be able to better budget as they're planning for their next budgeting year. The third meeting we standardly hold is a pre-renewal meeting. During that meeting, we work through all the assets that the utilities has, vehicles, property, equipment, any of those things, and make sure that we've cleaned up those lists. So you're not being charged premium for things you no longer have, but that we have everything covered appropriately if there is an accident as well. We also talk through what the renewal is going to look like, how they would like it to process, if they want us to present it, if they want to present it, if we want to look at another carrier and requote. Those are all the discussions that we have during that pre-renewal meeting. And then our final meeting is our renewal meeting, where we bring to Ash and Sarah the renewal quotes and put a year over year together and explain what's going on with each of the lines of coverage, and if they want us to look at a different deductible or something like that, that's where we discuss it at that meeting. And that all takes place before we come and present it to you all as a board. So wasn't sure if you were all aware that we're doing all these things, and Ash and Sarah are very involved throughout the year, making sure that insurance is an important part of their annual review, not just once a year, but throughout the year, that we are communicating with them. I just wanted to update you, share what we do, and ask if you have any questions for me, or if there are things that we can do differently or better to better serve you. That's our ultimate goal. It's to take care of the utility board, the city of Stuart, in the best way we know how. And if there's things that are a concern, I want to know, because I can't do my best job to you and serve you well if I don't know there's a problem. So I'm willing to hear it now, or if you'd like to stop in my office and talk to me or ask any questions, I am available and open to that at any point. Anything that anyone would like to ask?
The only thing I asked was about health, and you said you'd check into it, so.
Yep, we did connect Sarah and Nash with a gentleman that does health insurance. They met in November, and he felt like there wasn't enough time to do a due diligence on the health products, and so they tabled it to revisit throughout this year and see if there was a better option. He did mention that you offer great health benefits, so it's hard to match, but they would like to revisit that and take a little more time to do a thorough job this year, so.
So that's the third verification that we've heard that our
Yeah.
health insurance is
Yep.
very
It is pretty good.
strong.
Yeah.
So if anybody asks, the cost is similar to what Penora's paying per employee, and then that other, the cost is reasonable compared to what it could be. And it's negotiated through the union, and that's the
Yeah.
delta.
We really got a good deal.
Yeah, so if there's ever a question, why we do what we do, there's your 3 points of reference.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One thing that I've thought over the years, even well before your time, is with our local, people, it's always seemed like there's been a reluctance to kind of go outside of like the EMC model, even if it's not, even just to do the due diligence of like, let's find out what's out there, or put EMC's feet to the fire and say, hey, we're trying to find out what's the best option out here. And in the past, I've felt like we've just kind of done more of well, we're just in our renewal year, and the council or the board here or whatever had to be more proactive on our end to like ask some of those questions. And I guess where I'm at is I'd like to see more of like in that pre-renewal and all that be more like I guess outgoing in here's all the things that that are possibly things that we could be really going after and aggressive and auditing the whole. And maybe that's not every year, maybe that's every 2 to 3 years type of thing. But I've just always felt with our local carriers that we haven't had maybe that as aggressive nature in fighting for, the best of the best that we could go after, I guess. So.
I do know that last year we did bring IMWCA because none of us were happy with the audit results for the work comp. And so we brought them as a second option, and they did a thorough walkthrough and declined to offer a quote. And so that's the standard alternative. It is something we could look to a third partner for a possible, but we also did contact ICAP to see if they would look at it. When we sent loss runs, they were not willing at that time. I think as losses are contained, we have more options. And so that we do need to partner to keep the losses lower so that we have more capacity to go out and sell. One thing I could recommend is a safety committee. If the city were interested in creating and building a safety committee, carriers are very interested in seeing that you're promoting safety, not just as another meeting to attend, but that it's an active part of the whole institution that promotes safety. So we're able to go back to underwriters and say, they've created a safety committee, they're very conscious, you can see they're reducing their losses in this area, and underwriters are a lot more willing to work with you when they see that both sides are being proactive. So that's one thing I could recommend that the city or the utilities possibly consider is just the establishment of a safety committee where different groups come together and discuss maybe claims. You have low claims, but discuss some of the things that you could do to improve safety within the department. But definitely, we'll keep working and looking and talking to underwriters and trying to do our best due diligence to make sure we're bringing you the best product we can.
Or even within, if we have like an EMC product or insurance, like making sure that EMC knows that we're looking through everything and we're going to be finding out those things that don't make sense in the pricing structure that they're doing, and what type of auditing can be done to make sure that they're not just doing the same, that type of thing of just like, okay, we did it this way last year and we're just going to do the same thing the next year. What type of auditing can be done of their work that your organization can help to like do that piece of it as well?
I think the more I grow in my role and understand some of those lines of coverage better, we are able to do a better job of auditing, whether it's looking back through work comp audits and making sure they were done accurately, or bringing up questions that we have, verifying property valuations and things like that. That's definitely something that we try to do faithfully, but we can always improve on that and do more due diligence on those kinds of things.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, Midwest Partnership 2026 contribution. Brenda?
Hard act to follow there. So first off, I wanted to invite everybody to our annual dinner, which is January 29th. It's in the Casey, at the Casey Community Building, and I thought a really good speaker lined up, and she canceled on me, so we replaced her with the Lieutenant Governor, so I'm really excited about that. I think it's gonna be a good evening. And also, we will have 3 different panelists that she is gonna facilitate. So it's gonna be Fox Welding, who is a 3rd-generation business, Doa Deer, who started from the ground up, and then a couple in Baird that purchased the publishing business up there, the newspaper, so a company that purchased from somebody else. So I think it's gonna be a good night, and I hope that you would be able to attend. The next thing I wanna say is that I recently worked with Iowa Area Development Group. Kim, you know this. We had a really good project that we were hoping to bring into Stuart, and I wanna thank you for being a member of them or paying them whatever it is that you do with them, because they were just invaluable. I really hadn't worked very closely with them before, but they did a really good job in working with this client and trying to bring them to Stuart. They did everything that they could, so I appreciate you partnering with them, because that was very beneficial to my job too.
Is that Bruce?
Bruce Newsom, yeah. This last year, I've worked with Bruce Newsom, and Ethan Pitt is very active, and then also the ag guy, Brian Tapp. I'm working on a project with him too, and Bruce Hanson, I work with him a lot, but all of those guys are really good guys, very knowledgeable, and many, many years of experience. So, brings it to me. I've been in my position now about 3 years, and in the past, you have always supported me, and I'm asking for support again. As Janice said, as I continue to grow, it's easier to accomplish things, and I feel like I'm growing and accepting and doing better in this job. I passed around a list of things that weekly I have to my board, present what we've accomplished. So I was really proud of myself. I took all that stuff, threw it into GPT, and it created this. So this is an actual list of things I have accomplished.
You gotta be all about that.
Yeah, I was really impressed. But my printer broke today, so I was panicking on how to print this. But anyway, some of the things I've worked with is business attraction and expansion, and that's typical for economic development. Trying to get those businesses into the community, help current businesses that are in our community to whatever they need, growing or transitioning, or if they're ready to retire and bring somebody else into the picture. I can't remember. It's succession planning. There you go. Worked a lot with the data center. It was over in Adair. They backed out there, and they have recently come back. So we have worked and worked and worked trying to get them near Stuart. And economic development is really a difficult job, because you can work so many hours and so many months, and then they just ghost you. So it's kind of what Applied Digital has done. I know Matt is continuing to work with them. I don't know how far he's gotten, but I have not gotten any response from them lately. A lot of the programs in the area of Mid-America, I work with them. REC, I mentioned IDAG earlier. Greater Des Moines Partnership is a huge benefit for me. They continue to send requests for information. It's slowed down a little bit, but probably in the last year, I have probably gotten a dozen. One of those we heard back on, so we were in the second round, which is always exciting, but again, none of them have followed through and come here. It seems like it's really difficult in the rural communities. A lot of these businesses prefer the city because there's more workforce, closer to airports, better highways, but we will keep trying and hopefully get somebody. Work a lot with local business owners, local site owners to get their sites on. We have a Lois site on our website, so that is, I put the information on there and then it feeds up into like Lasso and some of the other sites that businesses are looking at when they're trying to find a site to relocate to. The daycare, working currently with the Stuart daycare, they are hoping to build new, get everything under one roof, so I've been working pretty closely with her too on that. We've planned a manufacturing day for the Stuart High School students, not just Stuart, but all of the high schools in the two-county region, and we had 32 students attend presentations at 3 manufacturing plants this last October, so that was good. I really try to work hard on that. Now Mid-American is also trying to set up a talk with the students just to let them know what's available in the area, so not everybody wants to go to college, so what things are here to keep people in our community, because we need that young blood. Business outreach and community engagement. I go to tons of meetings, a lot of city council meetings, chamber meetings. I usually attend the SEED meetings, and any community meetings, development meetings. Takes a lot of time, but I usually see things in those meetings that I can help with, so it's a good learning for me, and then I am able to go back and assist them with projects that they're working on. We also did the business splits. I don't know how many of you heard about that, but it's my goal was to do all the communities in the two-county area, which is, I think it was like 900 businesses I figured up. We started with Adair, Stuart, Greenfield, Panora, and Guthrie. We have completed those. So it's where a group of us went around and we visited or tried to visit every business in the community. Stuart has been our highest. I think we hit about 85% of the businesses. Guthrie Center, 30%. So I was really proud of Stuart and learned a lot of valuable information. We asked a list of like 20 questions, if their management had changed, if they were thinking about expanding, what they would like to see in the community. And there have been a couple of businesses that indicated that they were struggling or declining. So we have set up meetings with them to try to help them. Unfortunately, one of those has now closed its doors, but surprisingly, every community has some of those types of businesses. So I work a lot with SBDC. Jamie David in Guthrie County is great, and then Kirsten Case Fuller in Adair is good. And both of those ladies are very helpful with meetings like that to talk to business owners. Also, I presented on several panels in the area just to kind of give Midwest Partnership a boost. And then also I've been on several committees in Des Moines and I do not like it, but I have presented at different summits and different things, panels to help with, like Greater Des Moines Partnership, I feel like is so urban oriented, trying to get through to them that, Bridgewater, Iowa is nothing like Waukee or, Des Moines. So trying to get them to understand that rural Iowa is much different than the urban suburban. So we've been able to add some different programs and stuff to some of the summits and conferences that they have done. So that's been nice. It's nice to see the change that they've listened and changed. Also helped with the Empower Her, and Matt Funk has always helped with that too. Done radio interviews and just a lot of publicity for Stuart and for Midwest Partnership both. Helped with a lot of businesses with grants. I continually send out emails to the communities with grants available and funding available and workshops that are available. So spend a lot of time helping businesses with that sort of thing. And then probably one of our best things is we had Debbie Durham come out one day. I don't know how many of you were able to attend that, but we had a round table here and we probably had 30 attendees and asked all sorts of questions. And then we went around and visited a lot of businesses and she was very helpful. Gave a lot of advice on different businesses that were looking for help. Los Altos, I felt like she really helped them. So that was a good thing. And then Laura Freest with Travel Iowa has been out a couple times and toured things, and Bill Manor has been here a couple times. So it's just nice to show off our community and our county to some of those people. So that's kind of a list of what I have accomplished this year. So I hope that you support me again this year. Any questions?
When you have some of these prospects, do you get many questions on utility capacity, infrastructure, services and types?
Yeah, the ones in Stuart that I really push are the Stuart Rail Park, the Marks Development, and then the new Earhart site are the ones that I've worked with Pat a lot on, like where the infrastructure is, where the gas lines, how is the utilities coming in, REC. The bad thing with Iowa Area Development Group is that Adair County does not support them, so when it comes to the rail park, I'm kind of on my own out there, but they're very helpful if it's within their jurisdiction. But yeah, and they want all the information that they can get before they make a decision.
Is there any sort of marketing or, I don't know, even informational documentation that this group could help provide as a piece for you to present to prospects? At least show more organization and I guess.
There probably is at this point. I feel like when I first started, Greater Des Moines Partnership started a site selection. So there's certified site, state certified site, and then some companies do site selection. So I went through a ton of work to get all that type of information for that site selection. So right now I feel pretty comfortable that I have what I need, but as time goes on, I really want to concentrate on finding developers ourselves rather than relying on like Greater Des Moines and IEDA to send us those requests, that we can find the developers and reach out. Especially like on the rail, distribution and a lot of that stuff, I think, and we're close to the interstate, there's just so many pluses that we have here. So Kayla and I are working to try to find those developers and send our information out, so it's just a long process.
Thanks. Another thought is, when I was part of the theater and we went up to Perry to do it, our second theater up there, we were invited to come to a meeting at their city hall, and they had representatives from their economic development, the city council members, probably a couple other areas as well. And, I think the mayor was there, but we were a new business coming into town, and we just felt this, at least I did, this very welcoming and partnership type of thing. Is there anything when you have prospects that are getting closer to the decision making of coming in that, having a representative from the utility and the city and all coming together at that time to kind of really show our best foot forward as a community of welcoming in?
I'm hoping so, if we ever get that far.
Okay.
I know with like the smaller businesses, the chamber does a really good job of ribbon cuttings, and that's the case in all of our communities, but as of yet, we haven't hit anybody. I mean, that is.
But even before, yeah, I think we do great once a business is decided and they come in and but like as that welcoming group, or even just showing like, they're really seriously thinking about a community, but they're still shopping around a bit, or they're still, they still have things that they need. It's like being able to just come in and sit down with, several leaders in a room, introduce, get to know people. That was my experience. That was wonderful.
Unfortunately, we have never made it that far. This company that Bruce Newsom worked with me on, we were almost to that point, and Chip was great in that process too. I mean, it was unbelievable the things that they called me back and said. I guess it wasn't that project; it was another one. They called me back and said, "Are you sure this is right? Because it's much more aggressive than any other community." And that was for a plastic company that we were totally in line for that one. And I really thought we had a good chance of getting that, but they wanted Midwest, and then they ended up going to a Gulf state. But through a lot of our meetings and training and stuff, they say that's very important to do, and they keep saying, make sure you have the right people in the room, because if there's somebody that doesn't understand what's going on, they could blow it for everybody. So, yeah, I hope that we get to that point someday.
Okay, thanks.
we need a motion to approve the contribution.
So moved.
Moved by,
I'll second.
okay, second by King.
Okay, how do you vote? Crawford?
Yes.
Belden?
Yeah.
Sherman?
Yes.
Avy, yes.
Thank you so much.
Electric substation project.
I think Chip is working to get with Ryan on some of the TIF, and Ryan had some ideas, that's valuable ideas. And engineering kind of explained we were on a conference that he explained the process of getting the grant and how the proposal to work with the city on using some of the TIF and
Is there a grant in addition to the low-interest loan, or is it just a low-interest loan?
I think it's just the low interest loan.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
No, that's fine, I just wanted to make sure.
How
So-
much have we collected on franchise fees so far?
I have to look it up, but I
Okay.
don't have it on the top of my head. So one of the proposals that Brian is working with Cheb on it is to, I don't wanna get into details now
No.
because Cheb is working on it for February meeting. I'm
Okay.
just giving you the highlight
Okay.
of what's going on. So they wanted to come to February meeting with all the scenarios and all that jazz. And then we'll work with the city on seeing what the city has to say about
Is
it.
there a timeline that we have to reply or accept the low-interest funding?
I'm sure we have enough time because the proposal to wait until February was by the engineer and Cheb.
Okay.
But I don't know the exact time, but
Okay.
I'm sure there is some time. So we'll wait until February for that project.
And there was some discussion about whether there was a cost of 7 million or 5.6, and so did that get clarified? Because we started at 7 and Chip thought the refresh was 5.6, so just a big difference in,
It wasn't
know.
brought up, the whole idea was the dynamic of using the TIF, John
in
did
the
this.
low interest.
Yeah, and idea of looking at the rate, you know, John Dennis give us some options to look at, and I think Chip, we're gonna put it together to make that presentation.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 8, Ziegler Cap Maintenance Contract Approval.
That is not here, but I think that's a routine thing we do.
So this is a $20,000 annual expense, right? Am I reading that right?
Yes.
And what was it the last 3 years?
Siva has it.
$19,281, so it's an increase of just under $900 a year.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Pilgrim. I'll second. Seconded by Danny.
How do you vote? Crawford?
Yes.
Belden?
Yep.
Sherman?
Yes.
Avy, yes. Okay, 2026, 2027 utility budget annual report.
Well, unfortunately, Bat is very sick. He couldn't make it today, or tonight. So I'm just gonna go over the budget briefly to just kinda get you updated on it. The second page, to look at it, you see water. The good news is his budget, he worked with me on it, he didn't change a lot from last year to this year. So that's the good news. We only adjusted few items, which is, I can count it to like 2, 3 items. Revenue, we increased a little bit on the commercial light sales, 600, 4,500. That his vision of the increase, little bit of increase. Second page, he adjusted some of the material on construction and engineer on construction. And we added some percentage to the payroll, as we do every year. Every year, we put 4% increase of wages, and then we leave it up to you guys to decide what you do. That kinda got us to that next page, is expensive. We added a little bit for, uniform clothing because of the prices increased a little bit. So actually we decreased it, not increased it, which is 600, 6355. The payroll on 600, 6357, little bit of increase. 600, 6359, slight increase. And that really did take care of the water. Go to page 1, you see the difference between the revenue and the expense. We're assuming that we will have a profit of 187K. That's for the water. We go back to electric. Not a whole lot of electric has changed except for how much we pay for the bond principal and interest, which slight increase, a slight decrease from last year on the bottom of the line, 630, 630, 6801, and 630, 630, 6851. The next item has a change, is the next page, 630, 6325. There's a slight increase on the payroll, like I said, the 4%. And that's very much what the electric has of increase. We increased a little bit of possibility of buying some kind of a software for the meter reading, and that's something we do kind of every couple of years or so. Go back to page 1, you see on the electric, the difference between the revenue and expense. Not a whole lot, but I call it break even, 37,000, that's a break even. And we're gonna talk about that with Chair on the, in February, for possibility of the rate
To,
increase.
we just did that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again. So if we get the project, the substation, you see what I mean? Possibility, let's not make a judgment yet.
I'm already judging. Sorry.
Okay.
That's just me. We just asked we just partnered with the council last year to do a franchise fee in lieu of a electric rate increase. And I know that that rate hadn't been set in some sort of steady step approach to increase things, but that's the easy way out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just my own perspective. I'd like to hear from other board members, so I mean, Chip doesn't waste time,
No, it's
hopefully
not
there's other
wasting time,
scenarios
but
he's bringing other than
but
just raising everybody's rates.
as far as I'm understanding is you have the idea of bringing back the franchise with paying off.
If that all works, yeah, if that all
That's
works,
what I'm
that's
saying.
gotta be done,
Yeah.
that's gotta work. That was that's an idea, that's gotta be.
And that's was thrown out.
Yeah.
So we will put that in the consideration. That's how we're gonna be talking to the city council about it.
No, I'm with you, I just don't want it to be perceived as though we're gonna, it's
It's not the only option.
we're just gonna raise rates because we just asked the citizens to pay a 4% increase on just another tax is all it is. Every time you pay another cent, it's just another tax.
It's
So,
one of the options
Alright.
that was before you and was included in the study that he's gonna do.
Yeah, as long as it's mutually exclusive over here, and
Yes.
then if he wants to raise rates over there, that's fine, but,
Yeah, and I'm supportive of that
yeah.
idea because it's a great idea. For both city and utility.
The city benefits, what, the 1.2 over 20 years, the utility stays the same, it's just if it
Yes.
works. But I didn't put anything up there about raising rates.
No, the idea of it, it's just something he's trying to see. If you don't go this route, you can go this route. I don't think his intention is to increase.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are other people's thoughts with that?
I don't wanna raise rates.
Nobody wants to.
No.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at. The variance between 7 million and 5.6 is a 20% change.
Yes.
And we haven't even started yet. We haven't even the game hasn't started, right? And so how can there be that's a credibility issue to me, that someone can have that big of a difference in
Yeah.
that large of a project.
I know you're passionate about it. I
Well,
know
it's
it,
just,
and it's kind
I'm just
and-
passionate about not raising rates. That's
Yes,
the-
yeah, and I'm okay with that,
Sorry.
I'm just saying what Chip is
Yeah,
heading
I
toward,
get it.
and he's coming back in February to talk about it. It
Yeah.
was one of your proposals that he's putting it in, but we still have to talk to the council about it too.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah,
the council
it's
has
an
to
idea.
approve that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a question, for the historical years on here, is this what was budgeted during those years, or are these actual
No,
numbers?
she's not actually, it's budgeted.
Okay, get an illustration at some point of the actual that?
Absolutely.
Chip's got that budget model, that should be part of this discussion. It's got that yearly look for, what, 6, 8 years? He's got a water fund model and a.
Yeah, I
electric
just
model.
I wanna see what
The
the
actuals against.
actual
okay,
versus the
sure,
budget.
I got
We
you.
got it, we can go it, but the process of the budget has to
Yeah.
be the estimate,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the actual, yes. So that's where if you look at page 1, this is the projection of the water and electric, sales tax insufficient, check, utility deposits, that's a washout account. So that's really his budget that he submitted for the next year. Good thing, not a lot of changes in it, so I was comfortable with the budget, and I hope you are too. We take this budget and include it in the city's budget to finalize.
If I put a list of things together what the board tried to work on in 2025
Yeah.
and send that, can everybody else kind of pile on with what I miss or whatever? Like, we tried to evaluate, alternative options for, wind turbines and solar panels and things like that. We had a study done. Those weren't, just so the public's aware of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Did he put in, because I know at one time, when I was talking to the guys in Pat about the Dustin, that, when you do the power lines, can't think of the machine. Yeah, the bore machine, where ours is so old, I told him if they were thinking about trying to get another one, to put it in the budget. I don't know if he did or not.
He's gonna be using some of the reserves,
Okay.
I think one of the other idea he wanna do is using some of the reserve for that project up there, and I think maybe Dustin will be talking about it at a certain point.
Because I know it broke down again and you're having a hard time getting parts, because it's so old.
So what does it cost for a new one or slightly used?
Ours is kind of obsolete, kind of size model with its, so you can't get really that exact same size. You gotta either go bigger or you go smaller. And so the smaller model that we would be looking at is about 180,000, and then it jumps drastically to a auto load, loads the rods automatically with just a push of a button, and that's like 350,000.
Which one would have, I guess, a longer life to it?
That's just, this one here doesn't even have 1,000 mile, or 1,000
Oh,
hours
gotcha,
on it.
okay.
So, like, those guys that are boring for Coon Valley, like, they put that many hours on in a year, you know?
So in Coon Valley bores, they're just subbing it out.
Yeah, they're subbing out. They do have their own boring machine,
Yeah.
which is similar to what we'd probably be looking at, which you hand load the rods, which is a young man's game, I think, but anyway. But it's a smaller model, so you get it in the alleys, in the backyards. I don't know. When they show us all their gadgets, it's like, oh, they do that nowadays? 'Cause this one, I think it's probably a early 2000s model.
Yeah.
Everything's, if you greasing there's a whole lot of, like, when this is the only one that I've ever seen and set on and ran, and then you see all these coming into town and they're running theirs and you're like, no, really? So, but then you hear the price tag of them and you're like, that's can be a lot of money when you're, kind of get sticker shock when you first hear it, so, not to derail your guys's.
No, but to your point though, I mean, if you don't have one that's even functional, then,
Yeah.
we kind of need to get the basics at least, right?
Yep. Okay, we need a motion to approve the 26-27 budget. Moved by Brian. Seconded by Kim.
How do you vote? Crawford?
Yes.
Belden?
Yep.
Sherman?
Yes.
Amy, yes. Okay, city administration reports.
Okay, before I forget, I wanna thank everybody around the table here for with me for the last 32 years, you have big part of it. Dan, Brian and Neen has big part of the years. I can't stop aging, as I explained at the city council meeting. I'm reaching the age of retirement. I'll be 66. And I think I'm getting old and I want to retire. So I was supposed to retire last year. I waited because the city needed to have someone at the city hall very familiar with the operation of city and utility, billing and payroll and receivable and accounts, payable and all this stuff. And Sarah worked with me throughout the whole year with the training, and she got to the point that she is really now good at it to handle the day-to-day operation at the city hall. I encourage you to invest in her. After I leave, she'll be the only one left, and then you guys gonna replace me and all that stuff. We'll talk about that. If you wanna have a joint meeting with the council to see what the transition is, I waited to able to help out with the transition. So we'll see how you guys wanna do it, and we'll go from there. But I wanna, once again, thank you all for putting up with me for 32 years.
Thank you for your 3 decades of service.
Thank you.
You got a good track
Thank
record.
you. It's been an honor to work for the city of Stuart and to work with you guys and all this stuff. And when I came here in 1994, I didn't think I would be here until 2026. Really, I was young and motivated, and I didn't know that I'm gonna make it that far. But thank God, you guys accepted me. The town accepted me, and I owe it to the town. I hope the last 32 years that I have done well for the town. I hope that I've done what I could have done at the best of my ability. So hopefully my retirement will be something that has another venture for me and see what I'm gonna do.
You've earned it.
Thank
You've
you.
done well and you've earned it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and I'm gonna help with the transition, whatever it takes. I'm gonna help on the city side with the budget and the transition too, and the utility side needs to be part of the transition because we're joint employees, myself and the city hall, so you need to be part of the hiring process if you wanna hire someone to replace. So we'll talk about joint meetings sometimes.
What's your time frame?
What's that?
What is your time frame?
I only come April 3rd.
What's that?
April 3rd.
32nd?
April 3rd.
April 3rd.
No, he was telling me 2027. I was like,
Oh, well, as you said that, Corey and I have talked,
yes,
and we have talked about doing a joint meeting
yeah.
next week, maybe? Week after. So if you guys have any time free then, you can let us know, like, what days, so we can set up a day. And if you guys have any ideas,
If Wednesday's possible, that'd be ideal. That's just,
because of ball games
yeah, if
on a
that's
Wednesday.
possible. But if it's not, I get it.
We'll try to see what everybody else and
Just give
availability.
us a day. Wednesdays would probably work for me, I'm sure. I don't think I have anything going on.
Okay.
We're
What week are you thinking?
Mondays are back at.
Not next week, but the following week. It'd be, what, the 20th something?
21st?
21st?
Is it? 21st, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see if it's good for everybody and we'll organize it and go from there.
Okay, Corey, we can all do Wednesday, the 21st.
Okay, we'll get to the monthly report. First page is a financial report. We are at 7.8 million at the bank. Second page, in the beginning of July 1st, 2025 until the end of December, we are at a positive number of 534,000. Next page, we're still within our budget. Our budget is 3.4. We spend 1.5, we have 1.9, so we're doing good. Page 4 shows the months of December activity. The difference between the beginning of the month and ending of the month is 58,000 plus. That's good. That's a break. Next page is a breakdown of the budget between sales tax, water, electric, insufficient fund, customer deposit. Next page is the delinquent account. We have 9 people with a check mark without saying names at the first page. If you have any question, ask me. Next page is the delinquent account paid in full. There is no change, and that takes us to page 1 and 2. The next report is a payment agreement. We have added 1 person with the check mark on the right hand. Next report, paid in full payment agreement. We have 2 people with the check mark on the right hand. Take us to page 2. Next report, budget billing. We added 2 people. Report after that, deceased and bankrupt, no change. Total collected by the state offset program, no change. And then the last report is the utility report by the guys at the superintendent for your information.
Okay. Number 11, public forum. Anyone got anything?
I would just mention that I listened to the council meeting to try to see how this speaker's working. Same thing, the quality is good, but you can barely hear. And I don't know, I'm wondering if there's some way, like maybe it's our interface with YouTube to jack up the sound there.
We tried that, haven't yet.
I have, it would help if you pulled the microphone towards your face.
I could hear Kari, well, when he was talking.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably the easiest one to hear, and I'm trying to think.
Angie, I was in
Angie, I
the-
could hear Angie well, yeah.
See, I couldn't, I was in the audience in the back and I
And
could
then
not hear Angie.
I could hear Craig clear on the end, but Trevor, I could barely hear.
I'll bump it up a little more.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have the opportunity to.
I only wanna bump it up a little bit at a time because he said, the text said, when we get to a certain point, people will start to hear feedback between the
Okay,
microphones.
yep.
So I will bump
Yeah.
these up a little more.
From
Last
what I'm
time I
hearing,
bumped
it's
up the
very
ceiling.
clear, it's just really hard to hear it.
Okay.
So I think the quality's good, just need more volume.
So I did get a report back while I was sitting in here that they could hear Janice very well. where the
Okay.
podium-
Okay.
Good, that was the main
Yeah,
concern. Good.
I was checking just because this is
Thank
the
you.
first time since
Thank you.
Sarah
Same
did that. But
here, if we have it closed like that, you'll have it closed. But she will bump it up a little bit because we have that opportunity to do.
I think the big booming voice is like what I've got works good, but then soft spoken people. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Sure.